Today marks the start of jury selection in the involuntary manslaughter trial of actor Alec Baldwin for the 2021 shooting on the set of his movie Rust. Baldwin was practicing a scene with a prop gun loaded with a live round when it fired, killing cinematographer Halyna Hutchins. The film's director, Joel Souza, was also injured in the incident. Baldwin appeared in a New Mexico courtroom yesterday for a pre-trial hearing. If convicted, he faces up to 18 months in prison. Baldwin, though, has pleaded not guilty to the charge. We have NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalas here with more on this trial for us this morning. Danny, good morning. So, it's been a long road to this point. It feels like we talked about this a lot. It feels like this went away for a while. Now it's back. Walk us through exactly what's going on here. So it was initially dropped, then he was later indicted by a grand jury on one count of involuntary manslaughter. How does that work, and what are you looking for as this gets underway?
Yeah, the prosecution themselves decided at one point that they didn't have enough to proceed with the case, dropped the case, and then got some more testing or information that they liked, and then recharged Baldwin. And then if you go even further back, at one point they'd investigated Baldwin for a year, charged him with 2 counts. And even after investigating that case for a year, didn't realize that one of those 2 counts was unconstitutional because it charged a crime that didn't exist until after the shooting. You would think, investigating a case for a year, you might know that of the 2 counts you're bringing, one of them violates the Constitution. But these prosecutors did not know that. And the hits keep coming for the defense. Yesterday, before the case has even begun, before the first juror was even voir dired, they had many victories in their motions in limine, which are pretrial motions to kind of shave down the issues at trial. And while the prosecution had some wins yesterday, the defense, in my view, had a lot more and much more significant wins.
What type of things were sort of left out in that shaving down of the focus?
So you could say the biggest win for the defense was this. The prosecution wanted to proceed on a dual theory. Both Alec Baldwin as actor wielding a firearm and Alec Baldwin as overall producer. And that producer theory was very beneficial to the state because they could probably have pointed to the negligence or recklessness of anyone on the set and then made the leap that, hey, if that guy was reckless, Alec Baldwin was a supervisor as a producer, and therefore he's responsible as a supervisor. We call it respondeat superior. We use it all the time in civil litigation. We don't use it very often in criminal litigation for a very good reason. Criminal liability is a very serious thing, and we don't just automatically say that your boss is responsible for all of the employees' crimes. So having eliminated that very much narrows the prosecution's case. They must now only prove, and they can only prove, that Alec Baldwin as an actor was holding a firearm and was reckless when he held that firearm. Not reckless as a boss, not reckless as a supervisor, not reckless as someone who was overall supervising the production.
And why is that? Why did they say that that can't be involved here, that the producer part is not a piece of this?
Because it's just not a viable criminal theory. Because the idea, like I said, in civil law, we may hold someone liable for money damages if the boss supervised someone and that person does something negligent. It's just not the way we do it in criminal law. Otherwise, everyone's boss and that person's boss could theoretically be criminally responsible for everything an employee does. Sometimes they are, as in when they know what the employee was up to, they encouraged it, they helped the employee. But we don't have that rule in America that just every boss, every supervisor is automatically responsible for the crimes of the employee.
Do you think we see Baldwin take the stand himself?
I don't think they need Baldwin. I think he might do okay. Actually, I'm of a mixed emotions about this because I think Baldwin is probably in his own mind. I think he thinks he would be brilliant on the stand. But at the same time, I think the worst evidence that Baldwin has created in this case has come from his own interviews with television news outlets. I think everything he said in a TV interview is the worst evidence against him. So I don't think it would be a good idea to call Baldwin, because I think the defense case is so strong and the prosecution's case is so weak. You don't need to incur that kind of risk. And I can't really think of anything that you need from Baldwin other than him saying, I didn't pull the trigger, which, by the way, is a problematic statement. Had he said nothing, then we wouldn't be arguing about the mechanics of how you cannot possibly have this gun go off unless you pull the trigger.
Quickly, before I let you go, what about the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, who is already serving a sentence for her role in this? Do you think is she involved here? Does she take the stand?
Whether or not she does, I've said this for a while, the case against and the prosecution and conviction of Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, you see right there, that case is the case for Alec Baldwin's acquittal. These were not co-conspirators. Alec Baldwin can point to every piece of evidence against Hannah Gutierrez-Reed and say, yes, that's the bad guy. That's the person who committed the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. She was responsible, and the prosecution hopefully gave them all that evidence.
Danny Savallo is fascinating. Thank you very much for walking us through.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.